presentation for 212EN assignment. The first step that was carried out was to import the path file to be machined from the reference model and importing it from the working directory. After this was done, a workpiece was created around the parts to be machined and above it as well. The parts created above was 4.7 millimeters on the top surface of the model. Next, a milling work center was set up and the cutting tools required for the machining processes were set up as well. They included end mills and grooving tools. The grooving tool was used for engraving and it had a diameter as seen on the screen, and so was the end mill 1, which was used for face milling, end mill 2, which was used for volume milling, end mill 3, which was used for profile milling. In both cases, finishing end mill of 12 millimeter diameter, which was used for finishing, and that end mill which was used for volume milling the slots. After all this was done, an operation was set up, and from this operation a coordinate system was set up in order to give the machine a starting point, and also a reference was also created with 5 millimeter clearance to ensure that that is the point where the machine stays at when it's not in operation. The first operation carried out was face milling. Then the parameters are shown on the screen. The tool as mentioned in the use was end mill. The reference, this was done by selecting type surface and using the individual surface, that is the top of the model, as your reference point, and the parameters were set as well. By playing the tool part here, play part here, the path it takes for the material to finish machining can be seen as indicated in the red lines. Next was the volume mill, which was used to remove the outer material around the model. This was done by first creating a mill volume of the approximate shape of this material and then extruding it to the depth of the material. And next, a volume mill operation was performed by selecting the mill volume created and putting in the parameters required. And by using play path, the path it takes to achieve this goal can be seen around. The next was profile milling. This was done in order to remove any extra material around the object. By using play path, the path it takes can be seen. It's important to note that the outer layer was selected as a reference for the profile milling. The next milling operation was volume mill. It was another volume mill, but this time it was for volume milling the slot. This was done by first creating a mill volume like before, and by drawing a rectangle around this model and extruding and trimming it with this model in order to create a mill volume the same size and shape of the slots. And then, as before, the volume mill operation and parameters and references were set, and this is how the milling process was done. And next was profile milling, as seen before, but this time the edges of the slot were selected to chamfer out every other material that's left, and seen from play parts, the part it takes for the profile mill operation to be done. The next operation carried out was engraving. This was done by picking a grooving tool as mentioned earlier on and selecting the material to be engraved as a reference and putting in the parameters as well. Next was the final operation was finishing. This was done by first creating a mill window by selecting the top surface of the material as a reference point and creating an outside window contour and offsetting it by 5 to ensure that the material only cuts outside the material. And next, the finishing operation was done by selecting the mill window, and as you're looking at the play part, you can see the part it takes to do it. After all these operations were carried out, the material simulation was done. This was done by creating an NC type as seen, an NCL check type as seen, called 222, and by running it you can see the path the material takes to achieve the machining procedure takes to achieve the product. As can be seen from the simulation, it was a success, although there are still left out materials as indicated in blue. The code for this material was also created and saved as a type file by going to save and creating a CL file as seen in the screen below.